Hi everyone. We're just gonna wait for Raquel to join the live and we're gonna get started. So hold on 1 second. One second. Raquel, I requested you. You just have to accept. Accept, okay. Hold on. I accepted you. Raquel, are you in? Oh, okay.
Hi,
Hi.
what's up?
What's
How are you?
going on?
Okay, hi everyone. Welcome. So excited to be here. Thank you, SBH Updates, for supporting us and having us on to educate the community and bring awareness about celiac
Yeah,
disease.
we're very
So,
excited, especially
yeah.
because May is celiac awareness.
Oh,
So
I didn't even know that.
it's a perfect time.
Awesome. So my name is Raquel Laniato. I sing. I'm a music teacher. My Instagram is Rack and Roll with Raquel, and I'm with Joyce Harari,
Hi.
and she's Living Balanced. She's a chef, and we are both parents of children with celiac. So I'm going to be asking Joyce some questions, and she's going to be answering them. And if you have any comments, please feel free to write it in. Are you ready, Joyce?
I'm ready.
Okay. So can you share with us what celiac disease is and how it affects children?
Yes, okay. So celiac disease, which a lot of people don't know, is first of all, we'll start where it's not a an allergy. So that's how we're going to start. Celiac basically is when your small intestine gets very inflamed and your body can't get any nutrients and they can't absorb anything to their body and basically their body shuts down. So there's like this villi in your body and it, nothing could get through to it, and your body basically stops absorbing any vitamins, any nutrition because of gluten, and you go into your body shuts down. So once you have issues and you look into it and you try to figure out what's wrong and you take a blood test, you find out that you have your levels are elevated, and basically you get an endoscopy and you find out you have celiac disease, and the only thing really that you can do is live a gluten-free diet and hope in a few months or whatever your stomach starts to heal. But that's basically what it is, like explained.
So what is gluten and what does it mean to be eating a gluten-free diet?
Okay, so gluten is either wheat, rye, barley, oats. Gluten is basically everywhere. It's in things that you would never expect. It's literally like it could be in your soy sauce, it could be in candy, anything that you wouldn't think has gluten in it. And basically, you have to know how to read labels and you cut it out. And what was the other question? I forgot what you just asked.
So what does it mean to be on a gluten-free diet? If someone says they're on a gluten-free diet, so they're basically avoiding wheat, soy
Rye, bar,
sauce, rye, soy sauce.
soy sauce. Because that's
Right.
really like one of the main things. The first thing you learn is like you can't have soy sauce. Like
Right.
that's a gluten free. Like you can't
Right.
have it. Coconut
Right.
aminos only.
Right.
Wheat, rye, barley, oats.
And spelt.
People don't know. Yes,
Yeah.
spelt is also not gluten free. That's a big thing. Like people say, oh, but you could have spelt salad. No, spelt
No.
salad is not okay. You
Right.
can't have it.
Right.
And you basically have to avoid it. And the hard part for parents or for anyone that gets diagnosed with celiac is learning to read labels. How do we read labels? What does it mean? Like, how do we learn what's gluten, what's not? Where is it hiding? So, really, you have to be more or less self taught when it comes to this. And it's really trial and error, and you're learning what you're supposed to do. But you read your labels first. You'll look for gluten free because that's what you're gonna know how to do at best. But then as time goes on, you learn, okay, something that may contain weed or produced in a facility that has weed in it. Then you learn, okay, this is not good either. Because if you have, there's different, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, I'm rambling.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
different
let's
types.
slow.
Let's
No,
slow
you're
down.
good.
Okay.
You're doing great, but let's slow it for everyone else. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. So there's different types of like what type of celiac you have. All of them have the same effect on your body, but some kids, some people react differently to it. So there could be a silent celiac. There could be somebody that instantly reacts to celiac, or there could be somebody that reacts in a few days with stomach pain. So now you could ask a question about what these types are, because I know that was one of our questions.
Okay, but we're getting there. We're
No,
getting there. I want to.
it all
Yes,
intertwines. So like I'm covering each like
right. Each base, but
yeah,
let's take it slower. Let's see what. Okay, so here we have a question. What are some common challenges that young moms face when raising a child with celiac disease? So you were mentioning the child can have stomach upset if they have an exposure to gluten,
right,
right? If they have an exposure because it's like kind of having an allergic reaction.
right.
But celiac is not an allergy, it is an autoimmune disease.
Yes.
So, so some of the challenges that I have, yes, they can have a reaction of stomach upset, of feeling tired, of feeling irritable. A lot of moms on the chat reported that their children are anxious or
Yes, that's
depressed.
a very big one.
Yes,
Anxiety is
pre-diagnosis.
huge with
Exactly.
celiac.
Exactly. And I'm sorry I didn't mention at the beginning that I have a chat and Joyce is on it. And Joyce is very vocal and helpful in the chat. And there's about 150 Jewish parents on the chat. And we just trade info all day because we're all celiac parents and or some are parents of children that are allergic to gluten, and we just trade back and forth, and it's like a nice little community, a nice little support system.
And you
So if
really learn
anyone,
so much from each person. Like
yeah,
things you wouldn't know,
exactly,
you pick up on from another person. There's so much
exactly,
to learn like every day about it.
right. So if anyone wants to be on it, definitely message me, let me know, or Joyce, and we'll put you on.
Yeah.
So what are some of the challenges for you that comes with
So
this?
for me, my son is 6 now. In the beginning, it wasn't as hard because he got diagnosed when he was 1. So he didn't really know what food was at the time. So it was easy for me to just transform my house and like give him anything that was gluten free. But now, as he's getting older, it's definitely getting harder when he's around friends and he's sitting at a lunch table and everybody's eating something else and he's sitting there in the corner with his lunchbox. He's afraid something's going to touch it. He's afraid, like, so he'll kind of close his lunchbox and he won't eat because he gets nervous in front of other people. So it's definitely a challenge wondering, like, oh, what is he eating? Like, making sure he's safe at a friend's house. Is he okay? Does he know what to do? Like, it's very
So let's
overwhelming. And it,
get into that a little bit more. I don't want to cut you off, but to be celiac safe means not only that your food is gluten
yes,
free, but that your food did not cross
touch anything
contaminate or
else.
touch any gluten. So it's like in a way a little bit OCD. The
Yeah,
doctor
you
tells
have
you
to be, you
be
have to be like that.
OCD.
You
Yeah,
have to be
and
so
then
on top of it. And people might look at you like, stop, chill out, like you need to calm down. But no, you can't, because my
I know.
son, he'll react from a crumb touching his food, he'll instantly start throwing up within a few minutes. Others may not throw up right away and they might not react right away. But like when you see it happening that second, you know, like you need to be so careful because it's so dangerous. And not only that, your kids are traumatized. My son's traumatized for like his life. Like he won't trust anybody. It's hard. He
Yeah,
doesn't trust anybody. And that's another thing, like getting your child to trust when they go out and like ask questions and understand. Like that's one thing that I made sure from day one. I told him like this is boo boo belly. From when he was 1, you need to know that you can't have this. So I instilled in him from so young that gluten is bad for you, even though he knew because he was throwing up from it. But I kept telling him what was wrong and everything. And like, so he would come up to my father or my mother, like, I can have this. I can't have this. Can you read it for me? He
Right.
goes to his he tells his Morris, can you read this to me? So it's so important to tell your children and teach them, and like really, you really have to educate them so that they could advocate for themselves eventually, because we're not always around.
Right.
So
Right.
that's another challenge as parents we have, like making sure they're safe when we're not there and making sure they understand exactly what they have.
Right. Right.
So someone wrote, is celiac a genetic disease? So
Yes. Yes and no.
right.
So it's do you want to explain it? That
So
some
you could have the gene and you could get celiac. It also can be hereditary. Not only that, you can develop celiac at any age. It could come from nowhere. It could come after pregnancy. Could come after a virus. It could really just show up. Like
right.
there's so much, like you don't even, like I don't know where ours came from because no one else has it in our family, or like it just happened.
So it's more prevalent, generally speaking, with the Ashkenaz community and not with the Sephardic as much. But now the reason why we are doing this live is because very
So common.
interesting, interestingly enough, is
Everybody
that
has celiac.
recently
Yeah.
so many people have celiac. I mean, I'm adding multiple people a day to the chat, and they're in our community. Some are outside, some are inside, all Jewish people. And it's just very, very common for people to be celiac or gluten sensitive. And I forgot what else I wanted to say, but ours was triggered by COVID.
Oh wow.
So COVID triggered it,
Really?
and it's very interesting because it's an autoimmune disease, and also I have an autoimmune disease, which is different, hypothyroidism, and then that was triggered by a birth. So it's funny, like any stressful
Trauma.
events in life
Yep.
or trauma, it triggers the immune system. It lowers your immune system, and then you're more prone to pick up any of these things. So that's in a nutshell. And I wanted to ask you, so someone's asking, what's the difference between celiac disease, gluten intolerance, and just a gluten-free diet
Okay,
choice?
so gluten-free diet is a choice. Somebody that decides they think that gluten-free is so-called healthier. It can be, yes, but
Can be.
it can be, but the gluten-free bread is not healthier
No.
than regular bread just because it's labeled gluten-free. You don't know the additives
Right.
that are added into gluten-free food. Like that's
Right.
something you learn like
Right.
while reading labels, like wow, everything is so unhealthy.
Right.
But so gluten-free is a choice. People go on a gluten-free diet as they want to get rid of acne, or let's say their kids are not talking or they have certain issues, they tell you to cut gluten from your diet. So like they could choose to be gluten free. So now gluten intolerance is when or gluten sensitivity, you could get a rash,
Mm-hmm.
you get eczema, you could have a stomach ache, anything weird like that's happening to you, or like even if you're reacting slowly, it's not the same as having celiac because you're not causing internal issues to your intestine, but you're still having issues. So it's more like an allergy, like a peanut allergy or whatever. So you avoid it because you don't want to cause that pain or react to it. So now
Right.
celiac disease is when you're literally causing pain in your stomach where your intestine is shutting down, and you're basically over time you become malabsorbent, like whatever, you don't absorb nutrition and it's very bad for you. You get brain fog, you just become not a person. And you're not like with my son, he wasn't developing. He stopped, he wasn't talking, he wasn't walking because it literally closed down all of his insides. Like,
Right.
and so there's a difference. And another thing is with celiac, because you could be gluten intolerance, but with celiac, if you don't watch it and you don't live the gluten-free life, there's so many other issues that could come from it that is so dangerous. Like you could cause yourself to have diabetes, you could cause yourself as a woman, you could have infertility, you could have miscarriages. Like there's so many things that come from not watching what you're eating, and people
Right.
don't know that. Like they're like it's not safe to, if you know you have celiac, like it is not safe to not be
I
careful.
know. So that's one of the very interesting things about this because you could get a lot of flack from family, from
Yes,
friends, the closest to people who just don't understand it and they
they
think
don't get it.
you're being cuckoo, but you're not because it is something that has to be taken, with sensitivity and care and constant
Yes,
care, constant always thinking of not having your child feel like they're excluded at all. It's kind of like you can compare it to a kid with a nut
right.
allergy, let's say, right?
Yeah,
Let's say all of his friends are constantly eating nuts and he can't eat it. So you're always going to want to get that snack or that meal that
to copy
mimics
it.
what the
Yeah.
friends are having. So that's what we're doing on a daily basis, me and you and the rest of the moms,
Yeah,
right?
we're making sure they have it in school. They're having their pizza on the
Exactly.
same day that their kids are eating pizza. We just never
Exactly.
want our children to feel not normal and like, oh, this disease is making me weird or something.
Right.
We don't want that for our children.
Right.
So we're trying our best. It's hard, and we want to bring awareness to everyone to understand how hard it is to have children with celiac, and when it's not so common in schools and nobody's really helping out, we want to bring it out so people could understand and maybe things could start to change.
Right. Right. And thank God it doesn't make, I want to say it like very clearly, thank God it really doesn't make them different from any other kid.
No, it
So that's a
doesn't.
blessing, but it also makes it challenging for us because it seems like
Right.
a joke, like, oh, celiac, gluten free, but thank God, that they can function completely
Yeah,
normally. God bless them and grow and thrive as long as they are on a
as they're on
completely
a
gluten
gluten
free
free.
diet.
Right.
If they're not, God forbid, it stunts growth, it stunts weight gain, it causes anxiety, causes depression. Gut and mind are completely connected.
Yeah.
So, you know, um,
Right. That's
like
like
it,
that's a main cause of testing is when they think that when their child's not growing or gaining weight and they're failing to thrive. Usually they
right,
say, okay, they might have
right,
celiac, and they test for it,
right,
and sure enough, they probably do. So that's like one of the main causes in children is when they're not
right,
growing.
right. And what's interesting is also like sometimes if a child or an adult, let's say, is going through any emotional issue, it's very important that you take all your lab work and test your
Yes,
thyroid, you test for celiac, you test for all this stuff to clear it out because the endocrine system and it could throw all your emotions out of whack. So I'm just putting that out there. Um, okay, so what are some misconceptions about celiac disease that you would like to address?
okay. This one is for like the grandparents
Yeah,
and the people that aren't sure. A crumb will hurt.
right,
Okay? They
right,
cannot have a crumb. They cannot use the same spoon as you were using with your pasta. They can't
right,
use the same knife. You can't throw your challah bread onto
right,
their plate.
right,
A crumb will hurt them. It will literally cause damage to their insides. Like it is so it's serious. You can't like make a joke. I remember
right,
like when he first got diagnosed, like somebody said, "No, it's fine. Let him have one bite." I'm like, "No, it doesn't work like that.
right,
It can't work like that."
right,
So that's one. You can outgrow celiac. You can live a healthy, perfect, not perfect because we always have hiccups, but a gluten-free lifestyle, and
man,
BH your body will heal and you'll feel good and your child will feel good and there won't be issues, but you never outgrow celiac. You will always have it. It's an
right,
autoimmune, so you will always have
right.
it. Um,
I mean, they say very rarely low instances
right.
that studies have shown, but who knows that they do outgrow it, but that's
Ho-
very low.
Hopefully,
Super.
I would love that.
I know, but we're not going to date on
Yeah.
that. But,
What other ones would you say?
um, that's it really about the cross contamination,
Yeah.
people not understanding that and looking at you rolling their eyes
Right.
like,
When you
family.
go to
Really,
a
it's,
restaurant, oh my
yeah,
God, really? Are you really doing this
yeah,
right now? And then you ask
exactly.
600 more times, are you sure this is gluten free? You
And then it
sure this is
comes out
right?
wrong, you know,
Right.
and then they bring it to you wrong.
Yeah, you don't want to
Yeah.
go for dinner with us moms.
Right,
How many
right.
times
No,
we
me
ask
too.
questions? Sometimes my
So,
husband's like, stop. I'm like, no, I can't stop. I
I
need to
know,
know.
I know. Because okay, so here's a very good example of where it could totally sneak up on you. Sushi seems innocent
Right,
enough. Rice with vegetables and seaweed, right? Okay, so what do we have to be careful from? No soy sauce. Soy sauce is not gluten free. Okay. No tempura. So they're gonna have to
right,
wash the board down. They're gonna have to change their gloves. Fine, no problem. But all sushi places, they soak their rice in rice vinegar. So some use malt vinegar, right? So we
right.
discovered that together. So our restaurant that we all eat from recently, a couple of months ago, we were all ordering for our kids from there because they knew how to prepare it for celiacs, for nuts, for allergies. And now they started using a malt vinegar, and malt is gluten in the sushi rice. So if you don't ask these questions 100 times,
You never
restaurants,
know.
they are constantly
Right.
changing. You never know. You could, do the wrong thing, God forbid. So we always have to be on top of it, right?
Yeah, always.
So that was like such a sneaky thing that I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
Right. And
So
also most people don't know that's wheat. So like
right,
Rice Krispie treats,
right.
those have malt. So
Right,
you can't serve that.
right. So
Twizzlers.
they make other
Yes,
brands. Luckily, thank
they
God,
do.
we're so lucky. They make other stuff, but Twizzlers, yeah, no good,
Twizzlers
no good,
has wheat.
no
Um,
good.
Somebody asked how do you test for
Oh,
gluten? So
oh, go.
basically,
Yeah,
it's just a blood work. Your regular doctor could take it for you, and then they check your levels, and it's your testing TTG level. If it's elevated, they'll tell you, okay, it's likely you have celiac. We need to do an endoscopy. Then you go to a gastro. They put you to sleep. You do an endoscopy. They scoop your lining, and they do a biopsy, and then you find out. But the hard part with all of this is that you have to still be on gluten.
right.
So if your son or your daughter is in pain or you're in pain, it doesn't matter. Like for a
I know.
month and a half, you're literally suffering because they need to test. So because if you cut it out, then they won't know how bad you have it or what your levels really are. So
Right.
you have to wait it out,
So,
and that's definitely the hardest part about waiting to be tested.
so there are some people and some countries now where they don't. Okay, so the golden standard in America is yes, you have to do the endoscopy. Other countries are kind of saying you don't have to if, because the blood work is so complicated, I'm not going to explain it right. If certain things show up in the blood work, which show like, okay, 99.9999% is daughter or your son have celiac. So there's different approaches. And I also wanted to say, like, going back to the misconceptions about celiac disease, one of them is so your child reacts like Freddie, God bless him, is like a lie detector test. You could give the kid anything he
He
eats,
is.
and if he's sick, oh, that's not gluten free. He's unreal. This kid is gonna work for the gluten free
Freddie Hazid,
certification company.
he's
Yeah,
testing for everybody.
he's the testing boy. God bless him. So some kids don't react like that. So in a way, that's obviously thank God good, but in a way, it's also not good
Right,
because they themselves could not take it seriously, or their peers or their
right.
family cannot take it seriously and say, "Hey, nothing happened, nothing happened."
Right, like so many people have said, but they don't react. I don't need to
Right.
watch. I'm like, but
But
you
that's not
do.
true because
Yeah,
it could be a silent disease also. So that's something
right.
important.
So
Noteworthy,
so
like
even if you're not reacting, you have to make sure you're still eating
exactly,
gluten free because you're
exactly.
really causing problems to your insides.
Exactly, exactly. And always go for as many opinions as you
Yes.
need, as you want after getting diagnosed, because I did. I went to like five, six.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, knowledge is power.
Right.
I just wanted to hear from everybody what they had to
Right.
say.
Because it was so new, and we're like, what is this?
It's
What?
so
Where's it coming
strange.
from?
It's strange, yeah. But I will say that in America, I know the kosher restaurant scene, they're not as sensitive.
Right.
There's only like a handful that we have, and we're very lucky for them. And we call them out on the chat, and we advertise them all over, like Esther's or Gluten Free SY or you know, I mean, with your blog, you will help us make gluten free things. There's a bunch. There's a bunch of
There's
people,
so
but
many. Yeah.
really, then I've heard from people who are Jewish and eat not kosher that the not kosher restaurants are very
Right.
accommodating. They know exactly what to do. So we're lacking there,
For sure.
that's the problem. But also, I've heard and I've been like in Israel. They're so sensitive. They like want to do everything perfect for a
That's
celiac
amazing.
or a nut-free
Right.
person. And in Europe, I've heard it's like that. I haven't been, but I've heard it's like that too. So America needs to like
Up
catch
their
on,
game.
especially the kosher scene.
The kosher scene definitely needs to. We need
Yeah,
more options and we need careful, like, we need something.
right. You know what? Like, because I feel like it bothers me when they don't take it seriously, the kosher scene, because it's not only hurting us or hurting
Right.
people that are like sensitive and should feel like everyone else. They're hurting
It's
themselves. They could get
true.
more business. It's a matter of a few minutes of explaining to them what to do, right,
And
Joyce?
not
And
only
then,
not only that, if they tell you that it is and they're not educated on it, like it could really cause problems to their business and to
right,
that, like we'll go, it's
right,
we have to tell others and like now you're in trouble because half these people aren't coming to your restaurant anymore.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I have to
yeah.
say it happened to me several times where they've told me, yes, this is gluten free, everything's good, and I trusted because I was just so tired and I wanted to just
Just
sit at a restaurant
eat
or
and like a
buy
normal
something
person.
normal. And like within minutes, my son reacted, and the guilt comes because why would I listen? Why did I trust somebody I don't know? But I had to call them out. I had to, and thank God I was able to, one company, I was really able to educate them. And now they know, like they wrote on all their labels, may have been cross contaminated. Like they made sure never to have the same issue because no one wants to mess with Joyce. No
I
one wants
remember
to.
that. I remember that. That was amazing. Yeah,
If you
nobody,
mess with
no.
my son or
You,
anyone with celiac, like
you know
I'm coming
what?
for you. Like it's not
I
a joke.
don't blame you because
And I'm
I've had,
normally quiet, like so
you
when
know
I'm
what? And that was like a supermarket, like kind of a
yeah, it was
supermarket in the
yeah,
community. So you could have that experience at just a regular supermarket, or you could go to a very high scale place.
right,
Because I've been to a high scale place a few months ago. It was top dollar, if I tell you. And I made sure I run over the thing with them. We got sick, you know.
wow, yeah,
She was sick, and it was a very bad feeling because you think you're going somewhere where you're paying a lot of money, you're talking to them about it, but they really don't know what they're doing, and
right,
it's not fair. So yes, you're right. You have to share that when it happens. I spoke to the owner, but I will share it with the chat and tell them if you go to this place, you have to be careful. And I don't. It's not. God forbid me talking lashon hara about their business. It's me
right. You
preserving
have to make sure
everyone's
somebody
health.
stays safe. Right, exactly.
Exactly, because
It's
it's
true.
not fair. Because your kid reacts much worse than mine.
Right.
Yours would have really been bad.
And also like you really just have to be your own advocate. Like you can't like don't just trust everybody. Like, you're gonna have to experience everything for yourself until you sort of learn everything. So
Exactly.
you're gonna have hiccups, you're gonna have bumps in the
You're
road, like
right.
it's gonna be hard, but you learn as you go. And like as the years pass, you really start to like you get the hang of it. You
You're
really
right.
do.
Right. Yeah, you keep everything stocked, as many snacks in the house, so there's no, if you don't feel like
Yeah.
anything's missing, God forbid, and you're constantly cooking and
Yeah, you're
trying,
always you're always cooking. You're
always
always
cooking.
always got to have like
Thank
donuts
God.
or cupcakes in the freezer for school or for
You're
parties.
right.
And I have to say, like, for the moms that are so thoughtful and they're asking, oh, what can I get for the birthday party for your son so
Oh
he's
my
not
gosh.
alone?
The
Like
best.
those
God
moms,
bless
like
those
we
people.
really, you don't know how much we appreciate that and how it feels
Best.
like we don't have to run out 10 minutes before a birthday party to go get them a cupcake and you're doing it for like, it's so helpful and we really appreciate it. It's like, it's the
Yes.
best thing
Yes.
ever.
I love that. No,
Or
100%.
like
Or even
when you
sometimes,
don't have to go for Shabbat and bring your own food because somebody's making sure that you're taken
right,
care of. Like celiac is overwhelming, and we're not
right,
going to tell you it's not,
right,
but we
right.
man
Someone
you
sending
you'll
hearts. They feel the love.
but you manage,
Right.
you learn and you manage, and it gets easier over time. And like for the new moms that
You're cutting out. Cutting out. Yeah. Okay, for the new
Phone
moms.
call.
It's okay, you
For
were
the new,
saying
wait, I lost my trail of thought.
for the new moms that have it, then
For the new, okay, yeah. It's overwhelming at first. And, like once you start, you need to ask a lot. You need to find friends. I really lost my train of thought. I
okay.
had a good line and now I forgot it. Okay. Anyways, it'll come to me in a few minutes.
Well, for the new moms that have it, we're here for
Yes.
you. You have a lot of people, you have a lot of support, and you'll be
Support
great.
is very important.
Support
You need support.
is super important, and like we talk about it on the chat, that there is something I learned it from another lady in the community who's actually a celiac herself. She's an adult, and she told me there's something called the 504 plan. You have to fill it out. It's with the New York City State. New Jersey probably has something similar, and it basically states the school cannot leave your kid out, like with any kind of food. If there's a birthday party, if there's something going on, any celebration in school, they have to provide a gluten-free
Wow.
treat for your kid.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's a law.
Right.
So do it, and everyone, celiac parent, do it because you're entitled to it. And obviously, and I know my school offers gluten-free lunch, which unfortunately my child didn't go for, or and sometimes they do offer gluten-free lunch and they get sick, cross-contaminated.
Right.
That happens. Not that that's happened this year, but it's happened in other places. Um, but I know that in your school or like some other schools, they don't offer gluten-free lunch. So
Right.
that's very
And
difficult
we really
socially,
wanna
and
we
it's more
wanna
work.
we wanna bring that. We wanna bring the awareness to the schools so that they could help us out a little bit
Yeah,
and figure something out. Even if it's providing pasta or grilled cheese, like a panini maker, like something for them. Just so
right.
we don't have to send lunch every day, especially as the children get older and like they don't want to walk around with a lunchbox. I
Yeah,
don't blame them. I really don't. Like sometimes like I
right,
feel bad. I feel bad
right.
sometimes.
Right, right. You want them to just feel the same.
Yeah,
So schools, restaurants, in the community,
camps.
in the Jewish world, camps. All sport events happen to be accommodating.
Right.
I mean, past years, I don't know about this coming summer, but I know they're very good, thank God. But we're calling on all of you who promise to take care of our kids during the day, during the year. God bless you all during the summer, and all the restaurants, all of you kosher restaurants, care about all the allergic or gluten-free kids
Yes.
or nut-free kids. Care about them. Make a space for them. Call us up. Ask us what to do. How do we prepare for you? What can we do? All the moms of our friends, or anything, if there's any event going on, call us up, say, hey,
Right.
oh, let's say it's when Freddie's older, I'm having a bar mitzvah, what could I do for Freddie so that he doesn't go hungry for 3 hours? you know do these things, because all of that is a huge chesed, and we can all help each other,
Right.
you
It's
know
true. It's so
like,
true.
because as they get older it gets even harder, because as they get older they spend less time
At
in the house,
home with you.
at
Yeah.
home, and other people, could help us with this.
Right.
So we have to all care for each other. What advice? Oh, how do you teach your kid what they can or can't eat?
Okay, so there's different ways. Obviously, point out to them they know what bread is, they know what wheat is. Like you can't have this bread. And then teach them the gluten-free sign. So from when my son was literally 1.5, I would show him the G. Look, this is gluten-free.
Oh,
Gluten-free,
okay.
right, Freddie? What is this? What are you looking for? This is it, right? And like I would literally teach him as if he's studying for a test. What is this? What's this mean? And he learned how to read labels himself. He'll show his moras, this is not gluten free. Look, it doesn't even say that it may have like. So teach them that symbol. Teach them what's good and what's not good. Show them the different products. Like I used to take him to the supermarket with me all the time, so he would learn. So I would show him, okay, these pastas you're not allowed to have, but you're allowed to have this.
Right,
These cookies you
right.
can't have, but you're allowed to have this. And then like when we would go out, I would also tell him like, okay, we don't know how these people cook, so let's stay away from that, and we're gonna have this like this food, you know. And then like when I said in school, you have to ask a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
You need to make sure like if just and you just got to keep talking to them. They're
Right.
really the kids
Spoke to them.
really take it in so quickly, especially the ones that do react. The ones that don't react, it's kind of harder to teach them because they don't think really much
Anything.
of it. Yeah,
Right.
but I would just sit with them and teach them and show them. Like my main thing was going to supermarkets with him and showing him everything. I mean, if anybody else has any other advice and if anybody how they teach their children or what about you? Like,
I mean, okay, our kids are different ages. Mine's
right.
12. Yours is how old?
He's 6 now.
6. Okay, so for the past, since she's 10, we've been doing this. And yeah, she knows
Right.
really better than me, thank God.
Right.
Sometimes I give her things that are gluten. I'm embarrassed to say. I'm like, Jeanette, you have some. And she's like,
Right.
Mom, this is not
Well,
gluten free. And I'm like, oh, shoot, you're right. You're right. Sorry, sorry. You know, like, so yeah, I guess it's good. I guess hopefully I taught her well because
right.
she knows more than me at this
It's
point.
great.
Thank God. So yeah, I think as they get older, it gets easier in some ways, but harder in
Yeah.
others, obviously. And it's a learning process. But I want to say that I personally, I am Baruch Hashem, Blian Hara, I'm in awe and amazement at her strength. Like, because
Right.
children are so
Yes.
strong. Like, when they have to limit themselves in a pretty major way, our kids,
Yeah, they do.
and they're very good about it. And it's amazing. Like, I want to kick one habit. Let's say if I want to kick coffee, I can't do it.
Right.
I don't
And
know.
they're
Like,
able to do it and like with a smile on their face and like they're
it's
just happy.
unbelievable.
Yeah,
Right. So,
it is.
like I could learn so much from this. And
Right.
uh,
That's why I always say Hashem really gives everybody what they can handle. And you know, for our kids, for the people with like that's what we can handle. Like we're
you're
able
right.
to do it.
You're
Like
right.
I always say, thank God for me because I live in the
I
kitchen.
know.
There's nothing I love more than recipe testing and making food for people. Like I love everyone trying my food. Everybody come to my
Right,
door and
right,
taste. Like
right,
so for
right,
me, it's like okay, this is a challenge. This is fun. Let me see what I can do. You know, like
right.
and I made it. I made it into like something where I could teach others and you know just have fun with it
Amazing.
instead of letting it bring me down and like because at first
Ex-
when he first got diagnosed I was depressed. Like
Yeah,
what is this?
right,
How like
right.
what's going on? I don't even know what this is. And that's how many parents feel when they do get diagnosed because
Right.
they feel isolated and they feel like I can't do this and why is this happening to me and like what about my child? They were eating everything before and now they can't. So it's very overwhelming, but it gets
Thank you for your
easier.
honesty because it can feel very isolating. And I think
Yeah,
it's, in a way, it's like harder on the parents than it is on
right.
the kids,
It
you
is.
know?
It's
Because
true.
parents see like the long-term
Right.
picture, we're always like worried, and they're like just day by day chilling.
Right.
So, so it is hard, and thank God, you know, just the most important thing is to be with very supportive people.
Yes.
Like I have, there's a friend, you know what? I'm gonna call her out because I think she wouldn't mind being called out. Okay, baby Ellie's mom. Baby Ellie's mom, Brittany, she is amazing,
She's
okay? Because
amazing.
she deals with a lot. Her, for those of you who don't know, her child is, God bless her, she should be healthy. She's sick with brain cancer. She's in remission now, thank God. But if I am ever going to her house, she's like preparing a whole gluten-free
Wow.
feast. She's like calling me up. Oh, you also can't have oats, right? Have
Oh,
oats
that's
because
we forgot to
we
mention that.
forgot
Okay.
to say that a lot of celiac kids they can't have oats even if it's gluten free, because oats could have a risk of cross contamination. Some doctors don't like it, so she prepares a whole thing, and I'm so grateful for it. And like special people like that, you want to keep surrounding yourself
Yes.
with,
Yes.
supportive, nice, kind. Um, so just keep those friends. And so I don't know. Do you have anything to say about that?
So I'll touch up on the
Tell
oats
me.
just for
Yeah.
a second. So when you do get diagnosed with celiac, one of the things that most doctors will tell you, cut you can't have oats for about a year, even if it's gluten free, because a lot of celiac people react to oats even if it's gluten free. So for us, we weren't allowed to have it for a full year. And once his levels came down, he's like, okay, now we could reintroduce gluten
The
free oats.
oats, right.
But you have to be very careful because a lot of oats are not actually gluten free. They may say, or like they'll say, like doesn't but they could be cross-contaminated. So you really have to look for certified gluten-free label, like that are pure when you're looking for the oats. But
Right.
there's a lot of celiacs that never could have gluten-free oats because their body just doesn't process it and reacts to it. So that's also another thing that is tough because oats are
Right.
a big
They're in
thing.
a lot of things.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, and also that's something that you're reminding me to say is that levels going down could take
yes,
years, years. That tiny little mess up or a few mess ups could cause
it
major damage. So that's
really
why
does.
we're always being careful. You don't want to ever go backwards, God forbid, when you, it's like you're running so like a hamster on a wheel in a way. You're working so hard just to make progress, and then if you mess
Right.
up, you really, obviously mistakes happen, but you don't want that to happen frequently.
Yeah.
And then what resources or support networks are available for young mothers raising children with celiac disease?
So we have our chat.
Yes.
There's also a world gluten-free chat. Yeah, that's
Ooh.
kosher. Maybe it is. Yeah, are
Oh,
you on it
oh,
or you're not on it? Yeah.
that was not for me.
So
Sorry, guys. Whoever
that
that is, God bless you. It's awesome, but it's not for me. It was a lot. It was very chatty, and
right.
it was
So
something.
they
It was
have that.
spicy. It was getting spicy a little.
I mute all my chats, but
Okay.
that there's also Facebook groups if you have Facebook and
Okay.
resources. Google is going to be your best friend. It's
Yeah.
going to teach you so much. And there's also like this little machine. I don't know what's it called. Do you have it that you could test gluten?
Oh, I don't have it, but I know
Right. So
about it. There's a lot
there's
of stuff
also
like that.
there's a lot
Yes.
of people on Instagram like gluten free Gabby or Phil hates gluten. Like
Right.
they're all amazing and they have so much information and it really teaches you a lot
Right.
and tells you all the new
Yes.
products that are good, that are not good,
Yes.
that don't waste your money on.
Yes.
Another thing
Yes.
that we need to like companies, can you like gluten free prices are
It's
insane.
insane.
It's
It's
insane.
very high.
Yeah,
Very high.
very. It's really crazy because when you're buying in bulk, it's like,
I
what
agree.
now?
Unless it's like veggie straws pirates booty,
Right,
that's
right, right.
regular. But
That's like the junk. But
those,
when you want the
it's
healthy
true.
stuff and
It's
you're like,
true. That's what it is.
yeah,
I know. I agree. Yeah. I think so that this all is like one topic. The more we advocate for more exposure, the more popular it's going to get.
right,
The more we speak up, we could really make a
we
difference. Our
can.
voices.
And that's our goal. That's
Yeah.
what we're trying to do. We
Yeah.
really want to make a difference.
And also, we should say that me, Joyce, and I, and Francis Yadid, who we should have brought in on the
We
live.
should have.
Yeah, we should have. We were making some children's events. We had a few, and it was beautiful. We did them for the holiday. It was gorgeous, and a couple of hundred people showed up to one. It was so nice. To the
Yeah, they
Korean
loved it.
one, they loved it. Basically, tell them what we did, Joyce. What did we do there?
We made an event. We had food for them. Everything was gluten free. They didn't have to worry. One event we did cookie decorating and for the holiday we did hamantaschens and there was a whole one other event. There was a speaker and we had lunch for them and literally everything. And they walked in like, "What? We could have everything?" Like, and like they didn't have
Exactly.
to ask questions and they just felt so loved and so normal and so like,
Yep.
wow, like look how many people have what I have. So it's okay. I'm
Right.
normal. There's nothing wrong with me.
It,
I just have a
and
small ish,
that's
like,
right.
like there's nothing
Right.
wrong. Like, that's like,
Right.
don't ever think someone would see it like there's something wrong with them because there really isn't. There's
That's
nothing wrong
such an
with,
important thing.
yeah, like,
Yes.
like, they're normal. Like, there's mothers would see, like, there's grandparents would see, like, we live a normal life. We just have to be careful.
Exactly. That's such an important thing that you said because the problem is with any diagnosis, like someone gets, like even let's say it's a mental health issue or any physical ailment or God forbid anything, there's shame that
Right.
comes with it that you could feel. Not for everybody, but some people could
Yeah.
feel shame. And even if the child doesn't feel it, the parents sometimes feel it. Sometimes I
Right.
have parents who come to me and they say, "I want to be in a support group, but I don't want I'm not ready for that yet. My child
Right.
isn't sure,
I've
but
heard
I
that a lot
can."
of times too.
So I said, like, there's no
Right.
shame. It's just all good. Like, it's all part of life.
I think it's more
This
of
is
like
what it is.
accepting it. Like
Right.
that's where like you have a harder time. It's like, okay, now I really have to accept that this is my lot. Like this is what I have to do now. Like
Right.
parents have a hard time accepting it, especially when it's so easy to go to the butcher and buy something already made And now you're
I
not having
know.
that. Now you're actually living in the kitchen. So it's tough. I get it. So it's accepting, and then once you accept, that's it. You're all in.
Yeah,
You don't turn
yeah,
back.
exactly. And then you figure it
Yeah.
out as it goes. The air fryer has become our best
Yeah.
friend for French
Yes.
fries. Victoria, someone, I don't know, I just shouldn't call her out. Another person taught me how to use it, another
Right.
celiac mom. Okay, so we're
Right.
almost at the end. I think we have just another question. Does having a child with celiac disease affect your family dynamic? How, yeah, like how do you not offend your other children that are not
Right.
celiac?
So it definitely gets hard. I know people that transform the entire house to gluten free because they don't want their one person to feel like they're eating something bad. And then I know there's people that have, like me, I was always fully gluten free, and then once I had my daughter, she isn't gluten free, and I kind of felt bad. She loves pretzels, she loves crackers, so and I have a small cabinet where I keep her pretzels, her whatever, and a pita bread like that.
Yeah,
So in my house, and I
yeah,
also have two pots that are not gluten free at all. So there we keep it. That's for her, or like if somebody wants to make something that regular pasta, whatever. So that's what I have in my house. And it get the kids get like they don't love, not gonna lie, like some of the kids know the
they
difference, especially if they're
do.
not gluten free,
They
and
do.
like they don't want to eat it. Like my daughter, she goes to my mother and she's like, "Oh, I love these noodles. They don't taste like mommy's noodles." I'm like, "Gosh, okay."
I
Like they
know,
know
like
the
something
difference.
so simple. They're not used
Yeah,
to it. They're used to the brown rice noodles or the
right.
jovial noodles, all the gluten-free noodles. It's true.
And also another thing that comes with it is like the sibling could be jealous of
Yes,
the son with
yes,
celiac or whatever, because they're getting more attention and they're
yes.
getting more options for them because you feel bad, and it's like,
Very
why can
true.
he have that? Why is he having ice cream after dinner and I can't? Like they get jealous.
Yes,
So you really have to find balance, and like also your non-celiac child, you have to explain to them like, well, like now my daughter goes around there and says, "Is that gluten free? It's not gluten free, right? Freddie can't have it." And she's 3.5. Like it's
right,
cute. Like she asks
right.
everybody, but you have to teach them and explain. Like I don't know, how is your house? Like, are you fully gluten free or
I'm not fully gluten-free because I do have
right?
extremely picky eaters.
Right.
Like I do have to make 100 different dinners. But I think that you're right with the jealousy. They do get jealous. They say, "Oh, everything for her,"
Yeah.
because because like
It's
whatever she
true.
wants. Okay, so that's also like not good because my daughter that's gluten free told me, she said she doesn't like that extra attention.
Right.
She doesn't want me to make her, oh, you want this?
Right.
Okay, I'll make it for you right away. Like she doesn't want that. So like I have to learn how to chill out like that and be like, okay, starve, no problem.
Right.
Be like more do figure it out. So um the thing that's difficult with the kids is I'm noticing is the cross contamination. That's
Right.
the problem. So like if they're eating gluten and she's sitting there, they have to move their chair away a little bit. They can't eat right on top of her so the crumbs don't go. If they're eating gluten and they want to share a bag of chips, no,
No
no, no, no. We gotta
way.
pour
Yeah.
that bag of
Go
chips
go
out.
away. Go
Pour it.
wash your hands.
Right, wash your hands.
Yeah.
And then they also like it also it's just a
It plays with their
mental
minds.
thing. It
Yeah.
plays with their mind,
It
all
does.
our minds. I'm like, shoot, did I wash my hands? Like,
Right.
you know, so that, yeah, that those little things, yeah, someone's
It's
harding it. They feel
hard.
like,
It's very
yeah,
hard.
it's very hard. Like, I'll give you an example. I made a steak last week, and then it fell onto like the oven door. And I
Oh
know my
wow.
oven wasn't clean that day, like in a day, and I made pizza that morning, but some crumbs could have fell onto the oven door.
Right.
Oh no, the only way to take gluten off is soap and water. Like that's what they say. Like if you want to take gluten
Right.
off anything, soap and water. I'm not gonna go put soap on my steak now. So what
Yum.
did I do? I washed it off, I patted it dry, and then I prayed and I hoped. I mean, I
Right.
felt like there was a very small percentage that there could have been any gluten there. But it was just my mind being cuckoo. Thank God
Right.
everything
And you
was
didn't
fine.
want, right. It's
But this
always
is
better to
just
be
an
safe. When you
example.
question, it's always
I
better to be
know
safe.
you're right. You're right. But I knew that it was also me being
Right.
right. So
Yeah.
I had to balance it. Also, she wanted it. She
Oh,
knew about it.
right.
And I
Yeah.
couldn't do that. I couldn't like let her down again. My heart, it was just too much.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
And
you
another
know it.
thing is like the cream cheese and the butter, and like you
Right.
have to be careful because somebody could have used their knife with
That's
their
right.
pita bread and stuck it in, and then your kid eats it and they'll react to it
Right.
because there's crumbs from the bread. So
Right.
that's something also, like in a household you have to buy two different ones. Like if I'm going to my mother, like if I open it and I see it's, oh, there's no way I'm touching her cream cheese.
Exactly. Yes.
No way. Like
Okay.
I'll bring my own, or I'll make my sandwich before I get there. Like you just have to know where you're going and what you're doing and how to prepare for everything. So really,
Right.
like with celiac, it's all about preparing. You're always preparing. Okay,
Right.
so this week, and
Right.
I'll give you a big tip that's really helpful,
Tell
because
me.
I'm a planner, and I don't like to be overwhelmed, and I don't like things to hit me like that moment. So I'll plan my weeks from ahead. So I'll know, okay, so this day I have this day I have that. So I'll make my mini pizzas, let's say for him. Okay, I'm sending him out to the party. He's having mini pizzas and he has a cupcake in the freezer. Like I make sure that everything is already set and written and planned so that I don't have to worry that minute, like, oh my God, what am I doing? He has a party now, whatever. And I always have stock. Like, always keep stock in your freezer. That's like the most important thing you're gonna learn. Like, you need to do that, especially sending lunches and
Yeah.
let them going
Yeah.
out all the time. Like, that's one of the main things I learned over time. Like, you have to really be planned
I'm
and
like,
like
think because I'm like completely the opposite.
you're that. Well, you just gotta walk three doors down and come to my house and get whatever
Exactly.
you
I'll
need.
just come over. Joyce is my neighbor, guys. No, because I'll tell you why also. I think it also has to do with as they're older, they want more
Right,
independence. And Freddie might even like it. You could try this with him too. Like I had the pizza crust and she'll make her own
right,
pizza. Like if there's no, let's say I can't make dinner that night, I'll tell her go make a pizza.
right.
Go
That's
make eggs. Go
great.
make
That's
this.
great.
Go make fries. Go do
Yeah,
and I think they like that. Like they
right.
don't want me to like she's sick of me already, you
Yeah,
know?
she's older
Over
now, so
me.
she
Yeah.
wants, yeah,
Look,
right. It's true.
so maybe I'll have her make Friday night dinner soon. No, that's a good
Yeah.
idea. Yeah, I'm in. But no, but
Perfect.
I love that you plan. I think it's awesome. There's always like I have high respect for that.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. It
Right. No,
makes me more worried.
it takes time.
Yeah, no, it's like me planning is gonna make me more.
Really.
Yeah,
So
I know.
we're the opposites.
The opposite.
That's
Um,
very funny.
yeah.
Um, is there any other
There's
questions that we didn't
I think
cover?
there's one more. How do we promote celiac disease awareness? I think we're doing it right
The
now.
way we're
What do you
doing
think?
it.
We're
Yeah.
doing it right now.
Like this, posting about it, telling friends, telling people, like
Tell your
just
friends.
talking about it.
The bottom line that I hope we accomplish with this live is that everyone
Knows
like
that it's real.
knows that it's real and should feel sensitive, not
Right.
only to like the gluten, but also like the nut or any allergy,
Yes.
just or anyone that has something, some specific need. Let's try as Am Yisrael, as a community, to be more sensitive and more empathetic and really
Yes.
want to help the person.
And if you don't know anything about it, ask. Don't make it
Yeah,
like you know. Like I will
exactly.
tell you, like 12 years ago, I was selling desserts and I didn't know anything about gluten free. And I told people, yeah, it's gluten free
Right,
until I learned the hard way. And
right.
I got somebody sick and I learned, I'm like, wow, okay, this is like, what's wrong? Why would I do that if I didn't understand?
This was
So really,
before your
this
son
is,
was
I was
diagnosed.
in high school, selling desserts, but
Wow.
like, this is what everyone has to understand. Like, if you don't know, ask questions. Don't assume.
Yes,
Don't assume that you're giving my son something that is gluten free if you don't
yes,
know, because that's how we cause issues. There's always the assumption, and then we have the reaction. So
yes.
just
And
ask.
we're right, just ask. We're here for you and any
Yeah,
business that is interested in having some like a gluten-free pasta, for example, which takes like 4 seconds to make and not a big
right.
change to your business, ask us.
Yeah,
Reach out to one of us. We're happy to help. Whoever has any questions, please DM me, DM Joyce.
yes,
And if
please.
you want to be added to the WhatsApp support group, DM me as well. We have to make another event, God willing. I would love to do it soon. And that's it.
Yeah, and my
Thank you.
page
Thank you.
has all recipes if you're looking for like, and I'm always testing new things. So
Yeah.
even if you're like a dessert place and you want somebody to help you make gluten free, give me a call.
I
I
love
love doing
that.
it.
Joyce is so generous with her time and her talent, and her page has amazing recipes. So we're all here to help, thank God. And I thank you,
Yes.
Joyce, for answering and for your time, and everyone for tuning in. And SDH, thank you.
Yes. Thank you, SBH, for this opportunity. We're very happy to be here and talk all about this. So
So
thank you.
happy. So thankful. Have a
All
good
right,
night,
so
guys.
I'm gonna end it. Bye, guys.
Bye,
Wait, how
guys.
do I end it? I just exit?
Yep.
Okay.
Good
Bye.
night. Bye.